Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Boxing Bananas Show brought to you by Fight Bananas, where we are crazy about fights. I am your host, Ray the Business, joined by my co host, none other than the professor himself, Mr. John Radford. What's up, John?
How we doing, sir? How we doing?
Hanging out, man.
Heck
Just
yeah.
ready to get into some boxing.
Let's do
Little
it.
bit of a late show for the week, but I was occupied, so here we go. You know what I mean? We had some big fights over the week. I know that we had a little bit of a post fight initial reaction show. That
Yes,
was a
sir.
good
Yes, sir.
one. I got to hop in a little bit there
You were
and
funny. You were funny.
share some of my opinions and whatnot. But yeah, we'll get into it, man. But before we do, let's shout out to some of our sponsors.
You know it. You know it.
Take it away, John.
Jaws are size, man. If you want that, beautiful jawline, everything like that. I don't have the product on me right now. I actually left it in my car, so I do apologize. But it gets the jawline working and everything like that, and it's all good to go. So you want to put in the code Fight Bananas on the Jaws are size website when you're shopping. Fight Bananas, and you get 15% off your whole order. So make sure you check them out. It's the face workout and the neck workout you're looking for. Oh, my behind the scenes helper is getting me one so y'all can see it. Here we
Oh,
go,
there
right
we
here.
go.
Here it is. Boom. Don't forget to do it. Bite down and get your reps. I use it in the car. Fight Bananas for 15% off your entire order.
Nice. And then we got
HKA USA, guys. That one we're going to use Bananas 20 to get 20% off our order. But dude, they cover everything from workout shirts to shorts, Muay Thai shorts, boxing shorts. They have gloves that I love very much that I use a lot. Been using the pads that I have from them as well lately. Really, really good stuff. High quality material. Everything being used. They slick. They do custom work as well. But make sure you check them out and use that code Bananas 20 for 20% off your order, guys.
absolutely. And for anybody that wants to chime in and share some of their thoughts, comment below to be featured on the screen, whether you're on YouTube, on Facebook, whatnot. We will throw your comments up on the screen and we'll make some comments of our own. So
Absolutely.
let's get right into our weekend recap. Man, we had a big fight card over the
We did.
weekend.
We did.
You know what I'm
It was
saying?
a it was a good one, man. It was a solid, it was a solid card, pretty much from top to bottom, from the time that you would really want to start watching with Andy Cruz all the way to the top. We had some good fights.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So I'll kind of throw down my opinions and then kind of speedball them like I did the other night on the post fight show, and then you could take it from there. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
Let me share this real quick before we do that. So some of the results right here on the screen.
Okay.
So we had Andy Cruz winning, solid. You know what I mean? Well, I just my thing is, we got to see more of Andy Cruz, and I'm looking
Of course.
forward to it. Now we had a title fight, which I'll talk about that in a second. So we had David Morrell defeating Hot Rod by
Yes.
unanimous decision to win the WBA vacant regular title, heavyweight title. Um, man, so he didn't look the best, but I felt like he came on very strong. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Yeah, I
Hot
felt
Rod
like
Hot Rod is just a really tough fighter. He's only been put away by Arthur Beterbiev, you know what I mean? So he's
and
just a
everyone's been put away by
yeah, and
Arthur.
everybody's been put away by him. So that's not like something to say, but he's a tough dude.
Yeah, definitely a tough dude. And this was Morrell going up to 175. I don't know that it was necessarily like the I don't know how much we could judge off of this performance because I think maybe he was, trying to get that stoppage coming up in weight. It wasn't available for him, especially with a tough guy like Hot Rod. So I'd like to see him again at 175 to really see. Now, I don't know that I want to see him against somebody else. I almost feel like just throw him in with what's his face, Benavidez.
No,
You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with you. I think that's the matchup to make those two versus each other would be great right now and then the winner of them gets Bivol versus Beater Beef.
Or the winner can go back to 168 and face Canelo in May, depending on if that's available. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Hope it is because I've been saying for a while now. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Canelo's ducking what's his face, Benavidez," and I'm hoping that he's not. And I'm hoping he's just doing the marination, allowing
Yeah.
himself to get another big rival before he gets into it. But we'll see. We got Joel Slim. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, okay, bro. But yeah, man. So we'll see what happens. Now, I said I was touch up on this title fight. This was for the WBA vacant regular title. Man, they were supposed to quit doing this regular title 3 years ago. They were supposed to start consolidating the titles within the same weight class because essentially we already have four world champions per weight class, and then WBA starts having two per weight class. Insane. Insane. They were threatened to not be recognized any longer as, a legitimate world title. And now they're right back to it. You know what I mean? So I think the ABC needs to crack back down on it. Who knows? Maybe even I'll write him a letter. So
That I think that'll do more good than the ABC.
that's what I'm saying. We'll see what happens. But yeah, before I was wondering, how Morrell was able to be the regular champion at 168 and not get his mandatory shot at Canelo. And then all of a sudden, I went to the fight in Orlando in February with what's his face, Berlanga, and they're trying to say,
Yep.
"Oh, he's the mandatory now." Well, how can that even be? There's a lot of fishiness going on, and I think this answered the question. This is
Oh yeah.
essentially, I felt like this was like the payment to Morrell to say, "Hey, look, this is what we want to do. We want to push Berlanga instead of you, but we'll take care of you and give you a regular title at 175," which they weren't allowed to do because they're advertising it on the broadcast as, "Oh, the WBA the belt at 175." Well, what happened to Dimitri Bivol?
Yeah.
Dimitri Bivol's the champ. So now he's the super champ, the super duper champ, which they weren't supposed to do any longer. And now we're back to the old shenanigans in boxing. What are your thoughts on that?
That sounds about right. I could see all of that easily playing the way it is. Like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and, like you said, push Edward Berlanga, and he's obviously getting the fight. So that came true, right? So they pushed him. He got the fight. David Morrell moves up to 175, and they essentially give him another title because they can create titles whenever they want and give them out whenever they want. So
That's what I'm saying.
whatever.
Sometimes I talk about like when you collect these titles, it's almost like collecting the Infinity Stones,
Oh yeah,
and you want to be Thanos, collect and be undisputed. Well, this WBA title is almost like the reality stone where they can just create their own reality and
yeah,
they can create titles however they want, this and that. It's a bit ridiculous at this point. So
yeah. It makes it to where you're not necessarily getting the right Infinity Stone every time. You're
yeah,
getting
it's like
just
you're getting the
whatever one they make.
the paperweight from Loki.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So anyways, we'll see what happens with David Morrell. I like him a lot. But I won't give him I won't harp on him too much for that performance like others were. Moving on, we had Martin Bacoli defeating Jared Anderson. I was, I mean, I like Jared Anderson, but I was never the guy that was on the Jared Anderson hype train because I just wanted to see him step up in competition before that hype train really, took off. I'm not getting on the cart of the hype train unless, we're picking up some other big names on the resume. And I think this kind of showed me why. But to be fair, guy's only 24 years old, especially in
Yeah,
heavyweight boxing and boxing in general, the way it's been going. A loss isn't going to define you. I think he's going to be able to come back from this, learn from it. And I'm more excited to see Jared Anderson now that he doesn't have to, you know, hold on to that O anymore. He's been freed from the grasp of the O. What do you think?
no, I agree with you. I was sold on the hype train because of what other heavyweights were saying about him in sparring sessions. You know what I mean? Like Tyson Fury and things like that. I know they all can sell they want to help their sparring partner and things like that. But usually, if you want a guy in a camp and you keep bringing him back and he's giving you that good work, there is something to that young talent that you're talking about, right? So I thought he was gonna, because I'm not even gonna lie, I've never even heard of Martin McCall before this weekend. So I looked him up on the Ring TV, and he was, number 10 on the rankings, and he's a heavyweight. He was undefeated, and I was like, okay, so he's a legit contender. Got that? I just never seen him, but he is much better than I ever would have thought he was, and he is Martin McCall is great. He is the second coming of George Foreman in the sense of
The
how he
way he
boxes,
throws
how he
those
moves,
hands, he kind of just stands right in front of you and just
and he just
throws
slips,
them. Yeah.
and it's just little small movements, and he's just hitting you with
And
big
if you
shots,
get
and then
hit with that shot, oh, you're getting cracked.
yeah, it hurts. It hurts. So I was really
He's a big boy.
impressed with him. And I was impressed about how well he dealt with the speed and athleticism of Jared Anderson by just doing those little small movements, doing that little small technique, and then firing off the clean, precise counters, and then keeping the jab in his face and hitting him. Like, he did a good job. And I was like, so I think Jared Anderson, like you said, at 24 years old, will be back as long as he wants to box and he takes it seriously, because some people are saying that it's just he was good at it, and it's just something he wanted to do for a while, and he's not necessarily, taking it serious all the time, per se.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So hopefully this gives him a little bit of motivation to get back
yeah,
in there. But we'll see what happens. I like the fact that we got Bacoli in the mix at
yes, I
heavyweight
like it a lot
because
too.
heavyweight's going strong right now. I'd like to see him versus Big Bang Zhang. Two big
Yeah,
boys getting in there that can crack. I'm down.
I'll
Sign me
take
up
it.
for that fight.
Yes, absolutely,
Sign me up
absolutely. Yeah,
for
I think that's
fight.
the fight. I think that's the fight to make. That's the fight to make.
Bro, that's
That's
a
the
good
fight to
one.
make.
That's a good one right there. And then we had
Yeah.
some other heavyweights. Another heavyweight banger that went down. This was kind of like a back and forth fight. This was one that ended in a draw. I think once it went into the 12th round, I was saying, man, I feel like this fight could be a draw. So I wasn't surprised when it was a draw. I felt like Andrew Ruiz not having with like the inactivity, I felt like he could have done a lot better. And then obviously he broke his hand really badly. Let me go ahead and show this.
Yeah, it was super swollen.
Bro, look at that hand.
Yeah,
That is bad. So
yeah, that's definitely
I understand, you know what I mean? I don't like to make excuses for people, but I feel like that's an excuse right there. That's a
yeah,
that's a solid excuse. But he
yeah. It's legit. It's legit.
definitely broke his hand, but I also felt like he was getting pressured a lot. Besides the hand, I felt like the gas tank wasn't really there. And Jarrell Big Baby Miller, I had made the joke the other night, for being such a big boy. We talk about when you leave meat on the bones in the fight. Dude, I felt like he left a lot of meat on the bone. He could have thrown a lot more for the positions he was in, for the pressure he was putting on. Felt like
Yeah.
Andy was right there. And especially, bro, like after like the fifth, sixth round, I was like, man, I feel like Andy could get stopped. And then,
Oh, I definitely felt he was looking sluggish near the end of the fight and everything like that. Like, and I know, understand your hand. Now you're getting hit more, get all that, but like, he definitely looked like he was at that heavier weight. I don't think he has the cardio that he usually has when he fights at his lower heavyweight. You know what I mean?
yeah,
As a smaller heavyweight, like, I feel like he has better cardio for sure, and better overall ability as well.
yeah. So I feel like if there's a rematch, which I'm cool with, I feel like we're gonna get a better fight. I feel like both of them will
Yeah.
say, you know what, there was a lot left that I could have given. So let's not go out with a draw, and we'll see we'll see a I don't know, just I guess a better fight. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, we'll see a more. It was competitive, but we'll see a more active fight. I think
even
it'll be
yeah,
a lot
even
more active.
for what's his face for Big Baby, bro. Like for you to almost kind of give up the first four rounds. You were moving forward, but you weren't really throwing enough. Andy was winning those, kind of moving backwards, and
Mhm.
then you give up essentially 4 rounds, and then if you let any other of the rounds get close, you're either asking for a draw or a loss.
Yep.
And I feel like that's exactly what happened. So I don't know that he could be upset by it. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, I thought I won," blah blah blah, because that's the way it goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that fight, run that fight back, and I think we're gonna see a much better fight being,
I agree.
the way this one went. And then we saw, a guy who was throwing hands in Isak Pitbull Cruz. This was a close fight. I've seen some people saying that they thought Pitbull won. Maybe that's just some
I don't think so.
biases, but I thought Valenzuela boxed very well and was able to kind of neutralize that pressure of Pitbull Cruz. He was able to escape on the angle. He was rolling, like shoulder rolling the shot and then cutting the angle too, because Pitbull kind of comes with that hook. So he was
He
laying.
was getting caught early, but in the end, he's doing exactly what you said. He caught on to it, and his game plan definitely won the fight. He implemented his game plan better than Cruz implemented his, and I definitely think Jose Valenzuela won the fight.
Yeah, I feel like for Cruz, he was just kind of going with plan A, which is just move forward, throw big shots, but there was no adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what he needed. It's kind of set up those shots, maybe throw some jabs in there a little bit more.
Not a lot of cutting off of the ring to freeze Venezuela in place. A lot of times he was able to roll with it, check hook out, step out, be able to use his footwork to get around or push the head down and circle or grab. There was not a lot of counter footworking to keep him in a place to where you can keep the onslaught going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he left the door open
Yeah.
for Valenzuela,
Yeah.
and Valenzuela would just go, "All right, I'm gonna take a step outside, reset, and then
Put the jab in your face.
go from there." Now, let me ask you this question: we said for Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby, you agree that a rematch is appropriate?
I mean, you can, but I don't think they'll do it. But I mean, it's probably I don't think it's good for Jose. I think it's better for Pitbull in a rematch.
Yeah,
But
I'm.
because I think that style is hard to do to keep Pitbull off of you like that for two fights in a row. Excuse me, 2 fights in a row. That's going to be tough. Um, I I don't know. I mean, if a rematch is justifiable for sure, but at the same time, I'm not sure if his camp really wants the rematch right away. You know what I
Yeah, they
mean?
talk about how when you fight a style like that against the other style, you pretty much have to be perfect for the 12 rounds. And then if you sign up for a rematch, now it's like, okay, we'll have to be perfect for 24 rounds.
Yeah,
That's a tough ask.
it is.
And at the end of the day, man, I think I'm in agreement with you where, it was a close fight. So sometimes when it's a close fight, I like to say, okay, give him a rematch. But in this instance, Pitbull, like he didn't make those adjustments. He essentially lost the fight. So why give him the rematch? Valenzuela
Yeah,
did enough to win, so he won, and that's just kind of
yeah,
it.
yeah. We look at it that way. You know what I mean? We and I agree with you 100% for exactly what you just said. But like, I'm gonna turn around and I would say that like in the main event that I have Terrence Crawford winning, but I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch of the main event. Whereas this fight was called a split decision, and I'm over here saying that I don't think I really want to see a rematch for Jose Valenzuela's sake. You know what I mean? But if they do a rematch, I get it. But you know what I mean? It's two funny different stories where I look at it like that. But I agree with you 100% on that. Pitbull could have made some adjustments. The fight was there for him to win, and he kind of just didn't do it and he lost it. Whereas, for my example, the title fight was very competitive all the way through, and it was really how you judged it on, who would win. You know what I mean?
For the main
If that
event.
makes sense. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
comparatively
yeah,
to it.
yeah, it's true because on one hand you have a split decision, which is kind of like, hey, there's more of an argument to run it back, but
Yeah.
on the main event, I think I'm in agreement with you also, bro. Like
I wouldn't
with
mind
with
seeing it.
Pitbull, your job was to make the adjustments in the ring.
Yeah.
So and you didn't do that. So why would we go okay, well, we'll give you another shot at it so you can make the adjustments. Like you should have made the adjustments on the night of,
Yeah.
and you didn't. Whereas the Crawford versus Madrimov, it was just a competitive fight.
Yeah. And it was
And
literally how you scored it because there were so many like boxing analysts that had actually, said Israel won. You know what I mean? I know a couple of names that were like, I have it this way, guys. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You can say what you want, but I have it this way. And I don't. I mean, I don't. I'm an Israel Madrimov fan. I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. I have Terrence Crawford winning that fight, but it was a super competitive fight to where it was like, look, you could have give that round to Madrimov, and you're not wrong, but I see it for Crawford. You know what I mean? Type rounds. Whereas the other rounds are kind of like, I think they were a little bit more decisive. And like you said, there's things that could have been done because the fight was there to win. And this one was legitimately in the eye of the beholder of who was watching that fight. You know what I mean? Like where I do think, even though it's a split decision, I still think you can go back and watch that fight and you'll justify it more for Valenzuela. You know what I mean? Whereas you could run back and watch this fight and it's still the title fight for with Terrence Crawford, and it would still kind of be in the eye of the beholder of what you're looking at. Do you want the percentage hit? Do you want the power shots landed that with a higher percentage rate and things like that? Or are you looking at the activity of one boxer with a lower percentage rate, because the punch count was 9 punches different,
yeah,
like total landed. So it's like fight, main card, main event, you're looking at it as, like I said, the eye of the beholder. It's who's watching it. In the co-main event, I really do feel like when everybody went back and watched it, you're going to go, yeah, no, I think Venezuela did win that. I think that's the way it worked. Pitbull had his chances to kind of change it and do what he needed to do. And you know what I mean? And he didn't. And then when you watch the main event, you're looking at like, dude, these dudes are battling every single second, like trying to figure out what to do, how to adjust, what's making it better, what's doing it different. You just saw that, you know what I mean? Where you didn't necessarily, you saw one game plan take over in the co-main event, whereas the main card had much more chess match.
yeah, exactly. So like the co-main event, you had a guy who should have adjusted, but kind of just kept doing the same thing that wasn't working. So I don't know that you reward that with a rematch. Whereas the main event title fight, you had a guy who was doing the right thing, but the other guy just did a little bit better, and they gave it to that guy. Where certain rounds, and
Yep.
so that's where I can see, okay, that fight was so competitive, you could give it a rematch. I don't know that that's the route to go because there is so much activity at 154. And
No,
since
I don't
Terrence
think so.
Crawford's such a big name, it's all right, move on to the next. But if there's absolutely no other fight to make and Terrence Crawford wants to stay active and wants to kind of put a seal on it, we'll see how he feels. Maybe he runs it back, but I don't think it's going to be run back. But I don't know that in the landscape of 154, it's not in the sense of it being a tournament where, okay, well, this guy, now that Madrimov lost, he's out of the conversation.
No, I
Madrimov, I
don't
feel
think
like
so
is
either.
still in the conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's still in there. And with this fight, do you feel like this is an instance where even though he lost, his stock went up
Oh,
substantially?
oh, absolutely. I actually, to your point, I think he's so much in the conversation to where I would rather see Crawford go fight Fundora and Earl Spence and Madrimov hit it off, and whoever gets out of those two gets the winner of Fundora and Crawford. For the shot at the unified titles, because that would be 3 titles together. I think I like that scenario a whole lot because I do think Madrimov's um quality of opponent, and his just the way he fights, I think brought a lot of fun to this fight. And I think his stock definitely went up. And I think now people can give him, you can give him the upper level echelon of opponents and know that he can be right there, damn near win, and be right there with the best of the world because Terrence Crawford is pound for pound one of the best boxers on the planet, period. End. You know what I mean? So I definitely think his stock went up. He didn't get finished. T Bud was on an 11 fight. We talked about it on an 11 fight, finishing streak. He didn't get finished. It was super competitive. People are still talking about how close it was when it came to it. Some people gave him actually gave him the fight. consensus is that Crawford won for the most part, and I agree. But like, stock went up. Let him go to Earl Spence because Earl Spence is still coming off of the Terrence Crawford loss, right?
Hmm. Yeah, he still hasn't fought since. So
Okay,
he's going
so
right into
a title
a
fight.
not only a title fight, but a unified title fight.
Yeah, which is like I feel like Crawford and Fedora should fight. Israel and Matt and Earl should fight, and then we can run it off from there. You know what I mean? But to your point, no, Madrimov is in the title conversation 100% still, 100%.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, yeah, man, I think we got some movement going down at 154. Now we have some names at 154 and some stuff going down. We have that fight going on, the Fendora versus Spence fight. I think that got rescheduled to October. So we'll see what happens with that. We have the IBF champ. I forget his name. It's another Russian guy. And then that's pretty much it as far as the champions go. But if you look here, we have the Ring Magazine is vacant. We got Terrence Crawford now is number one. Madrimov now is number two. Sebastian Vendora is still behind him at number three, which I think is appropriate because you have Tim Zhu as number four. I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone that's not biased can agree that had Tim Zhu not had that cut in the second round from the accidental elbow,
Yeah,
we
he
would have been
beats.
seeing Tim Zhu beat Fundora, who I think 2 fights prior or 1 fight prior got knocked out by number 8, Brian Mendoza, got knocked out cold. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like I don't want to say Fundora got lucky, but if things were different, I don't know that he would be the unified champion of the division,
Agreed.
if you know what I'm
Agreed.
saying.
Yeah.
So hold on, let me get this. Let me get this back there. Yeah, there we go. But if by Ring Magazine standards, if they rematch in the next fight, that's going to be for the vacant Ring Magazine title because it's number one versus number two. And I don't know that I disagree with that.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with it. You know what I mean? I also feel like maybe Tim Zhu and Israel Madrimov could go at it, and that would be a good fight.
Because Tim Zoo's I think he's up in the air now. He was supposed to fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Virgil Ortiz Jr. That fight fell apart.
Yeah.
I don't remember why, but now Virgil Ortiz still ranked at 147. I guess he's not ranked at 147 or 54, but I guess with this fight coming up this weekend, which we can get into right now, let me go ahead and share this here. We have Serhii Bowenchuk versus Virgil Ortiz. People might go, okay, well, who's Sergey
He's
Bowenchuk?
the WBC champion. Or is he not the WBC champion anymore? Oh no, no.
No, he had the Continentals title,
Oh
but he's ranked at number 5. So he's right in there as well. So if Ortiz is able to take him out, then Ortiz is in the mix. So we got Ortiz in the
yeah.
mix. We got Fendora, Madrimov still in the mix. Tim Zoo's in the
Zoo,
mix.
Earl Spence.
Earl Spence now is put in the mix because of this fight coming up. And then you could even say, Lubin's in the mix
Yeah.
in a way too. Because I heard, the rumors that he was going to be fighting for the IBF. I don't know where they're at with that,
Yeah.
but we'll see what's going on. I feel like some of those titles need to get consolidated. But if we see Terrence Crawford fight the winner of Fendora versus Spence, which might be Fendora, then we'll see a 3-belt unification with only one more to go. And then
Yeah.
all the other guys can kind of figure it out as well.
Yeah. But he actually has some solid opponents to deal with at that weight. So I feel like he's still making his legacy, work for him because he's gonna have some solid opponents at that weight if he tries to unify everything. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And for those who don't know, we'll go into our pre-fight show basically because this is the fight that we got going down. Bohenchuk, or however you say it, he's ranked number 5. We just saw with the Ring Magazine. So Virgil Ortiz Jr., this is the big thing to look out for. We got 21-0 with 21 KOs, bro.
Oh, snap.
He's
Snap.
another guy with 100% KO, similar to our boy Artur Beterbiev.
Would you call him a puncher or would you call him a boxer with power?
Both. Depends on what he wants to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like it. I like it.
But that's good.
Yeah.
So,
no, for sure.
Yeah, he's got victories over Maurice Hooker, Samuel Vargas, Kavalauskas, Delorme.
Delorme, yeah, I've seen Delorme before.
McKinnison.
Frederick Lawson.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. This one's going down at the Mandalay Bay. That's what the Michelob Ultra. I was walking past that the other day.
WBC interim title, super welterweight title.
Oh, it is. So essentially, that means he could be in a mandatory position for
Fundora.
The winner of Fundora versus Spence, which might put a wrench into things. But
do you throw Tim Tszyu at Crawford then?
I wouldn't be mad at that fight, but I wouldn't
be mad at that fight either.
I feel like the way to go is world champs. I feel like the way to go is go after the IBF.
Who has the IBF?
Let me pull it up right now. Yeah, I feel like you got to go world champs boxing. It's this other, what's it called? It's this other, share this tab. Here we go. This guy, Murat Ziliev.
Yeah.
So he's 22-0. He's from Russia. I feel like that's the way to go. Go like if the WBC, WBO, all of that is getting, and then look, Terrence Crawford's the interim champion of that too, with that win over the weekend.
What about Jermell Charlo right there? What about Jermell Charlo stepping in for a name fight?
Well, it's still here. They still have him as the Ring Magazine champion, but this is out of date.
It's. I know. I'm not even so sorry.
I feel like Jermell. Yeah, Jermell Charlo. I don't know if he comes back to 154. Maybe he goes to 160. But man, after he both of him and his brother really disappointed me, man. I was big fans of them. Jermell, I was definitely a big fan when he became undisputed. But then with that performance against Canelo, dude, that was terrible. So I don't know what's gonna go on with that, bro. But yeah,
my last question is: do you think Jared Enos moves up?
Nah. I think he needs to do his thing at. I think he needs to do his thing at what's it called, at 147, because I feel like 147 right now is for the taking.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? He could be the star at 147. So I don't know why he would move on without at least becoming like unified champion. There's fights with Barrios. And in no disrespect to any of the guys at 147, but there's easier fights at 147 than just throwing his hat in the mix at 154.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that too.
And he's still a young guy. So, bro, you could make your name. You don't need Terrence Crawford's name. You don't need that big fight. In the short term, that might be something where, I can go chase him at 154 and maybe I'll get that fight. Or you could do your thing at 147, make your own name. Crawford might, exit, but by the time you do your own thing and then move up to 54, you're going to be your own name. So I don't know that those two are ever going to cross paths, and I don't know that I'm going to be upset about it.
Yeah,
if they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I do like the idea of that. It could be if he doesn't go after the belt. I think Tim Tszyu is a great name. I think that would be good.
Tim Tszyu, yeah, I saw that Turki Al-Sheikh, His Excellency, came out recently with a whole post about kind of 154. He said that they're not interested in the Crawford versus Canelo fight anymore, which is good. I don't think any of us are after that performance, which is something that we had mentioned on the pre-fight show. Was if Madrimov is able to touch up Crawford, I think it's going to kill that, and I think he touched him up pretty well.
Oh, he touched him enough to where I think even Crawford realizes that, okay, I need a little bit more time at a certain weight before I just go up. There's no way I'm going to be able to be okay up there. He ate
Exactly.
those right hands good, but are you eating a Canelo right hand at 14 pounds more weight? You know what I mean? Up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you eating that right hand?
Yeah. I don't know that he is. And for as good as Crawford's defense has looked in the past, it didn't look too good. For you to be able to just continuously get hit with straight right hands down the pipe like that, like I was seeing where Madrimov was landing like one, and then boom, he would land another one, and then he would land
Mhm.
another one within the
Yeah,
span
he
of like 10 seconds. He's landed three in a row.
yeah, his broken rhythm and the way he was putting it together was really, really good. And
It's
his
impressive.
accuracy and speed, I think, really threw Crawford off a little bit. I think the speed was more the deciding factor in a lot of it. I don't think he was gonna think he was that fast. That man has fast twitch, explosive muscles. He was coming quick with those punches. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah,
it
most
was
definitely.
it
So
was it was fun to watch for sure.
we'll see what happens in the future. I'm looking forward to this fight on Saturday. We'll definitely, see what we're gonna do boxing bananas wise for the show.
Yeah,
But I'm looking forward to Virgil Ortiz. I think he's an exciting guy, and for 154 right now, it's super interesting for him to make a big statement and
yeah,
get that secondary title at 154. He places his name in the hat because, like we said, we got Crawford, we got Fundora, we got this guy, the Russian guy with the IBF.
yep,
Madrimov is still in the mix.
hmm
Zoo is still in the mix. Earl Spence,
yep,
possibly Lubin,
yep.
maybe if he can get a fight in there. So we got 6 to 7 names at 154 right now. And
Legit fights.
yeah, so I think this will play out at least until the end of 2025. Hopefully it doesn't take until the beginning of 2026 for us to be talking about the same
True,
stuff,
true, very true.
but slowly but surely certain names are going to get kind of taken out of that 6 7 man list that I just put up there.
It'll get
So
narrowed down. It'll get narrowed down. You know
so
what I
we'll see
mean?
what happens. We'll see what
Nice.
happens. But I think especially after this weekend, we got some big fights to make. Bacoli,
Yeah.
Star was born with
Zhang,
Bacoli.
I like your matchup with that Zhang. I think that's perfect.
Zhang is solid. I'm interested to see what Anderson's next step is. I'm actually more excited to see him now than I was before because I don't like when there's I don't want to say it's artificial hype, but I don't like when people are hyping up a guy and telling me that I have to be hyped about a guy. Like as far as the promotions and stuff goes, to me it almost feels like it's propaganda. You know what
No,
I
I know.
mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are telling me like, "Oh, this is the guy," and blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll wait and see." So now that he lost, I'm actually more interested to see, okay, how does he bounce back from this,
I just want to know.
especially being
I
young.
just need to. I just really need in my hearts of hearts. What I'm rooting for is for Martin Bacol to get a grill deal. Like he just needs a grill deal, and like I need to know. Like somebody go get this man a grill because I'm telling you, bro, that's fucking George Foreman out there.
He's
It's
gonna sell
crazy.
all the grills in Africa.
All of them, dude. Like let's get this man paid. Let's go. Let's get it.
Most definitely. But anything else you got for me before we cut the show today?
Um, no, no. I mean, like, I'm looking forward to Virgil Ortiz this weekend. Let's keep an eye on that fight for sure, and we might have something for you guys, coming up. But either way, always make sure you're following Fight Bananas official on Instagram, on Facebook. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channels. Check out HKA and Jazzercise, and give me a follow if you want to too. That'd be awesome.
We got HKA. Make sure you use the code
Yes, Bananas
bananas20.
20.
And then for Jaws or size, put in the code Fight Banana for 15% off. You know what I'm saying? Get the jaw looking nice.
That's right.
And follow us on Boxing Bananas Official at Instagram. We're posting all sorts of cool stuff
Heck
over
yeah.
there. But all right. I guess that's it for today. We got some boxing coming up in the future. So we'll definitely be covering that. And
You're welcome for your afternoon delight, fans. Thank you very much.
until next time.